You're listening to Just a Pinch podcast with Injector Kristen. Join me and industry experts as we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the aesthetics, wellness, and fitness industries. Okay, welcome back to Just a Pinch podcast. I'm here today with Andrew Romeo. After our failed first attempt at an episode, we tried doing a virtual and we had I had technical difficulties. So, I mean, hey, it all works out and now we get to see here in person.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped to be here. And I mean, I think the first one was a good walkthrough anyway.
Absolutely.
So it was a good warm up, ready to rock, ready to go.
Getting to know you.
Yes, for sure.
Well, first of all, welcome to Avon.
Thank you. Thank you. It's beautiful here. It's a beautiful area. I really look forward to spending more time here.
It is. It's a really neat area to explore. It seems like such a tiny, tiny little town, but there's little hidden gems everywhere. And like the food is incredible, great. And it's all local stuff. So it's all, you feel good about supporting all the local business here.
That's awesome. Hopefully we can be considered one of the hidden gems as well.
Absolutely.
Not that hidden. Hopefully we're not that hidden.
No, you're actually going to be in a fantastic location.
Good.
So Andrew has an up-and-coming personal and semi-private training studio, kind of a second location opening up in Avon. Really right down the street from here. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, if you guys know where this is, drive like a mile down the road into the Whole Foods parking lot and you can find me.
Exactly. So we're easy to find by grocery stores. We're across the street from Fresh Market and Andrew will be right next door to Whole Foods. So we've got all the goods.
Absolutely.
All right,
good places
awesome.
to go.
It really is. So tell me a little bit about your fitness background.
Sure. I've been in gyms probably since I've been like consistently since I've been like 12 years old. It's just been a common thread throughout my life. As a professional, I didn't really start working as a professional in the field until I was about 18 years old, working with some teams as a sport coach and then also working as a personal trainer. I went to Springfield College, so I wasn't an exercise science major, which everyone's surprised by. I was actually PE for 2 years, so I did all of the anatomy and phys. I did the exercise psych. I did all of the stuff that led to it. And then I switched over and did recreation management and business, which really paired really, really well with owning gyms.
Absolutely.
Got out of that, and then I did all of the things, right? So I went and I did some collegiate stuff. I did some spa, high-end resort spa stuff. So if you guys were like Canyon Ranch, I was there for a little while. From there, where did I go? I did the Globo gym scene. So if you think, when I say Globo gyms, and I get that from dodgeball, but think like LA Fitnesses or the big box gym.
Yeah,
so I worked there for a while. And that brought me all to corporate fitness. So then I worked in corporate fitness as a health and fitness specialist for big insurance companies. So you'd go in, they have a gym, you're running their health, their wellness challenges. And throughout that, I found it all to be really, really limiting.
Yeah.
There's just always these guides on like what you could do, what they wanted to see, what noise they wanted you to make. Like just it was very specific, and I wanted to branch out into my own. So in 2009, I opened Romeo Athletics. We opened out of a one-car garage. It was probably about the size of this room. It's teeny tiny, right? This room isn't that teeny, but like for a gym, it is.
Yeah.
So we could barely fit a squat rack in it. We were outside in my front yard doing like burpees in the snow, flipping tires. And since 2009, we've been really fortunate that we've grown to the position that we're in. I found some really, really solid mentors for the training side and then also on the business side, which has allowed us to grow and develop into what we are now.
That's fantastic. Did you play sports growing up?
I did. So I played soccer. I skied competitively. Skiing was probably the thing I was most competitive with. And then I played baseball. Going into Springfield College, I started playing baseball there. I did that for a year and a half. I left baseball and then played rugby for the next 3.5 years. I played rugby until I had an orbital blowout. So if you guys don't know what that is, I shattered the right side of my face and my whole cheek dropped down like half an inch.
Yeah.
So I have a scar that runs like the top of my eyebrow. They hit it pretty well.
Oh, wow.
But so after that, it was like a gnarly concussion. I stopped playing rugby. I was like, I need my brain.
Yeah.
So competitive sport-wise, after that, I did the CrossFit scene for a little while. I was competitive with CrossFit. Then I was competitive with Olympic weightlifting for a while. And now, as an older human being, I lift weights every day, and I do jujitsu. And I'm a white belt at jujitsu, so I get tangled up and choked out all of the time.
That's amazing. I know so many people that are really starting to integrate jujitsu into their fitness and their training and just like their life skills. And I think that it does fit really nicely into somebody's training regimen of just making you a better, stronger human. And
It's
just
really cool.
mentally too.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
What an ego check to, you're used to banging out heavy weights and being really competitive all around in the fitness world. And then you get on the mats and people half your size will just literally bring you to your knees and
Absolutely.
put you down.
And they will choke you or armbar you. And I think I heard this analogy earlier. It was like if you've ever been sprayed with someone of like a hose, like a higher powered hose, where it's like this pressure. With someone that's really good, it's like it doesn't matter where you move in that hose, the pressure is still on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's similar to like a black belt where all of a sudden, like, there's no escaping it. There's just pressure everywhere. You're like, I can't do anything.
I'm
so it's
just
really
done.
cool. And to your point of like the ego check of like, it is a giant ego check.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've been in the fitness space long enough where I consider myself to be pretty proficient at most everything.
Yep.
I am not at this.
Yeah.
Which is great. Which is great.
I love personally being a beginner at things. 'Cause I love to do a whole variety of things. And when you get really proficient at them, it's a great feeling to know that you're proficient, but you start making those kind of more minimal incremental gains, those 1% gains.
Yep.
And it's so fun to like give your brain kind of a reset and a recheck to start something brand new to you and be a beginner and be able to experience those exponential gains and just really tap into the different parts of your brain to learn a new skill. So it's so fun.
I completely agree. Like the new motor pathways and all that kind of stuff of like you're watching someone do it and you're like, that looks really simple. I can do, and then you go do it and you're like, I forgot half of the steps. Like, okay, like compared, as you said, like with weightlifting and stuff, like I've done it long enough where it's second nature. It's so ingrained. Those movement patterns are so ingrained where there's no, like PRs might happen once a year, maybe once every other year.
Half a pound,
maybe
5
some
if
of
you're
them,
lucky.
yeah, and maybe some of them will never happen again. Like I don't have I've squatted a lot of weight. I don't have any intentions right now to do that again.
100%. I can definitely empathize with that. So for just a little background about how we met or kind of know each other. I probably became familiar with you far before you came familiar with me because of your gym.
Sure.
So I started my real fitness, life up in Massachusetts when I still lived there. I was part of Pioneer Valley CrossFit in Hadley and Northampton and Hadley and Northampton.
Yeah, they've been around. I don't know if they're still around, but they started before I did, which means they've been around for a while.
Yes, and there's been several iterations of them. They've changed locations, owners, size, shape, everything. And as far as I know, they're still around and kicking.
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
Yes, and so I was a part of them, would start to do some competitions, and some of the competitions that we would go to as a gym was the Toys for Tots Throwdown, which was held at your facility. And so I kind of got to know you through that, seeing your name, seeing your athletes, seeing your gym. And then when I moved to Connecticut, I started training over at CrossFit West Hartford and CrossFit Hartford and got more into the Olympic weightlifting side of things. And when I started doing all of my Olympic training, I then realized that I kind of wanted to coach a little bit.
Cool.
And so then I went to your gym and did my USAW level 1 certification course with Gary Valentine and you guys that day.
Gary's an awesome, and it's really cool. He's an amazing resource, and it's awesome that you wanted to coach it and reached out to through USAW, but Gary has such a wealth of knowledge. If you guys aren't familiar with Gary, the guy's been in the sport for over 50 years. Like anything that's come and gone and seen in trends and fads, he's seen it all, which is super cool.
Yeah, he's a fixture in New England weightlifting for sure.
Do you still Olympic lift at all?
No.
Okay. It sounds like there's that's a loaded answer.
It is. It's a loaded answer because I want to.
Okay.
But I stopped Olympic weightlifting when I had a spine injury.
Gotcha.
Back in 2016.
Okay.
So I blew out my low back and was down and out of really, I had several weeks where I literally couldn't move.
Yeah.
I was out of work. I couldn't walk. I couldn't shift positions. Just me sitting in this chair, not looking like I'm moving, would be sending me through the roof. I got stuck on the floor once.
I'm very familiar with all of these things as well, where you're like, oh my God,
Yep.
I understand back pain now.
Exactly. And it's a horrifying wake-up call of being like, oh my gosh, is this the start of a different part of my life now? Yeah. Fitness had been such a huge part of my life for so many years, and I was heavy into it. I was competing against myself. I was competing against other people, and it was just like harder, faster, stronger, max out, get super strong. I mean, and I was yoked back then, I was very, very fit. And all of a sudden it came to a screeching halt.
Gotcha.
And so mentally, I mean, huge mind fuck. It was tough to go through. And it immediately puts you into this state of depression and anxiety about, am I going to, not only like, am I going to be able to weightlift again? Am I going to be able to walk down the stairs?
Yes. Put on my shoes, put on my socks without being like,
exactly.
Big breath in. Oh my God. Yeah.
Exactly. Am I going to be able to drive my car? Am I going to, it's a scary part of life. And I had to take a lot of time off of traditional movement patterns because I genuinely couldn't move. So it was a big one where I couldn't just be, just scale this or focus on these. There was nothing happening.
Oh, that's too bad.
Total blowout.
So, but it sounds like you have somewhat recovered from this and you're on the other side of that.
Yes, and it has been a really long time. So that injury was in 2016.
Okay.
Here we are in 2022. I have snatched once since then. And it was just, putting some 10s on the bar just to do the movement pattern to show myself that I still could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to kind of test the waters. So it took me a couple years of going through rehab. I did a lot of physical therapy, worked with an acupuncturist for pain management. Last thing I ever wanted to do was take a pill.
Yeah.
That's something that I did not want to get involved with. And, I don't throw shade on people that have to.
Yeah.
Pain is pain, and the way you perceive it is how you perceive it. I utilized my pain as my guide.
Sure.
And the last thing I wanted to do, because I so desperately wanted to get back to moving again, was to cover up my pain and then do something that was going to flare it up again.
Yep.
So what I chose to do was to feel the pain and, utilize more natural things, acupuncture, massage, heat, cold therapy to, keep me at a dull roar. But then I was able to know what was really triggering it and what was bothering it, and then not do those things and be able to do the things that didn't bother it.
That's exactly what I would recommend you do.
Yeah.
It's just like, as you said, use your pain as a guide.
Pain isn't
Does that
bad.
make it flare up? Does it not make it flare up? Where do you feel it? Where don't you feel it? Because if you take a bunch of drugs or opiates and blind it all,
exactly,
it's never going to get better.
No, and I don't think that pain is a bad thing. Pain exists in our bodies as a physiological response and feeling for a reason.
Yes.
And it's to prevent you from doing the thing that's causing pain. You don't just, unless you have a neurologic neuropathy when your nerves are just firing and giving you that pain for no reason, a musculoskeletal physical pain is telling you it hurts for a reason, not just to piss you off and to get in the way. So if you look at pain as a tool as opposed to something that's just here to cause you distress, you can use it in a positive fashion as opposed to just getting, blinded by it.
Completely.
Went through all the rehab. I actually started back up at Pure Bar of all things. So going from banging weights to, Pure Bar. And I got to say, that's no joke.
I'm sure there's one opening up right down, like 2-3 bays down for where I'm at on Market Street. There's a bar studio opening up.
Crazy. So when I first joined, I was like, okay, this is going to be great rehab. It's going to be nice and easy. Like, I've got this,
Yep.
And my God, they're like, okay, pick up the 3-pound weights. And I was like, okay, pick them up. And we'll start doing them. And your muscles are just shaking. That's and awesome. You, like, intense. So, like, hats off to bar. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Those ladies and guys that do bar, like, regularly, their little intrinsic muscles and stabilizers are probably stronger than any of ours that are just banging weights all day.
I've had some similar experiences. So, like, when I worked in corporate fitness or when I worked at, like, the resorts, I had to take all of the classes so I could speak to them. So when someone's like, hey, tell me about this class, and I've been humbled like that a bunch of times where you're like, so we didn't touch a weight today, but I am going to hurt for a week.
Yep, just come up on your toes and then just move a half an inch, and you're like, okay, all right, I got it.
That's awesome.
So, went through that, did some yoga, worked with a couple different trainers, just trying to get back into some weightlifting. But I went through a huge, literally trauma. Like, I had a level of PTSD from that injury as I started to try to lift weights again.
Yep.
Because I was at that point so deconditioned in lifting, you're going to be sore. You're going to go through the motions of your body recovering and, feeling pain in certain areas.
Sure.
But feeling pain after weightlifting or doing certain movements would trigger me to be like, I'm not doing that again.
Yep.
I refuse to go through what I went through again.
And probably second guessing everything.
Everything.
Every step being like, I don't know if that was a good idea.
Everything.
Yeah, sure.
Working with just an empty barbell, body weight and certain movements. Like to this day, deadlifting, I won't do it.
Gotcha.
Won't
Even
do
with the
it.
trap bar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Won't do it. Have tried it. Literally, like, I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on different, like, specialty bars.
I own them all, and I don't want to use any of them.
Just trying to find something that would allow me to. And every single time that I would go to deadlift, I would feel that exact same type of pain and that same location come back. And, I had to reach the point where I had to say, maybe this just isn't what I need to be doing. And I can find other things to, get a similar training stimulus in those muscles and through, my ligaments and tendons. And I don't have to do that just because I used to.
Completely agree.
So for certain things, I had to kind of take them out of the repertoire.
Yep.
But over the past year, actually longer than a year, but I'd say most year recently, started following Power Athlete programming. I was on and off with them for a couple of years.
Which one do you follow?
I do Lean and Able now.
Lean and Able, cool.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the one for people that are really, really busy. What am I looking for? The words are escaping me.
It's I did it. I've done a couple
I
of them.
don't know why I can't think of it.
It's not
hammer.
Grindstone.
Grindstone, yeah.
Grindstone,
So I'm normally a grindstoner.
Yep.
Right now I'm doing December, and December is blowing me up as we're just talking about deadlifting.
Yes.
I'm deadlifting 5 days a week, so I'm like, oh my god.
Yep.
But normally I'm a grindstoner just because they give you 2 priority days, and the rest of the week you fill in wherever.
Yep. I actually started on Grindstone when I was doing the remote programming.
Cool.
And then they introduced Lean and Able as a new program. And I was like,
Yeah.
find out, and I love it.
John that writes the programs and Tex that writes the programs, they do a great job with it.
Oh, fantastic.
Turn off your brain, look at an app, look at Train Heroic, cool.
There's nothing, like, personally, like, some people, they love to go to the gym and figure out their own thing, and some people don't even go in with a plan.
Yep.
I like to be told what to do, because if given my own devices, like, can I figure it out? Of course I can. Like, I've been doing this a long time. I can put together a program for myself. I don't want to.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure in here all that you advise people, and you tell people what to do, what they need to do, how they need to do it.
Yes.
And if you can come into a gym, if it's on a program or if it's with a coach, and now we can guide you.
Exactly.
And being like, what are your goals? What are we looking to do? What traumas have you been through? Where we want to go with this? Now just trust me.
Exactly.
And just
there's
do what we say.
Professionals for a reason, and there's going to always be somebody smarter than you in the area that you're trying to be a part of.
Subject matter expert, right?
Exactly.
And you find a subject matter expert and being like, if you trust me, I promise you'll get what you want out of it.
Exactly. Follow, just do what you're supposed to do.
Which is hard. Which is hard for a lot of people.
Compliance is hard. I mean, even in my industry, people will come in, sit in the chair, tell me what their concerns are. I'll tell them, okay, no problem. Like, easy peasy. We got this, A, B, C, D. They come back. All right, did we get you scheduled for the right thing? Well, no. Okay, well, did you change your product? Are we using the right thing for your skin to help you with that skin condition? But I really like my old product. Your old product caused your skin condition. So, I mean, compliance is everything.
Yeah,
and same with fitness.
Yeah, and fitness, and then you talk about nutrition quickly with that kind of stuff as well. And I am not a registered dietitian, so I won't dive into that, but it's the same idea with compliance. Hey, I can give you some pretty basic stuff of foods to eat, foods to stay away from. Mm-hmm. But if you get into the gym, walk every day, eat some good food, you're going to be all right.
Exactly.
And it sounds really simple.
Yep.
But it's not that simple.
There's like I like to think of, I think of aesthetics in this way, and I like to think of fitness in this way too. There's a hierarchy of need.
100%.
And, you have the very base things that if you're not doing every day, you have really not much business continuing up the ladder and trying to do these more advanced things and really keep progressing up to the top and find your enlightenment in whatever you're trying to do.
So do you find that in your industry? So like in my industry, people look at someone like myself, or they'll look at the top weightlifters in the world, and they'll be like, I need to do what they're doing. And you're like, they've been doing this for 20 years. They've been doing this for 30 years. You have no business doing what they're doing. Like, you need to build up your foundation. Is that similar with your industry as well? Were there certain things as you're stepping through and being like, what you're talking about is like a year down the road, 2 years down the road?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And it can be tough conversations to have. And especially within the aesthetics industry, it's expensive.
Sure.
As fitness can be as well, You have to learn to crawl before you can walk. We can't just have you in for one session and fix everything and have you completely happy with, you know, how your skin is looking, how your appearance is looking, whatever it is that your goal is. We're very unlikely to be able to reach that in 1, 2, or even 3 sessions. It's an ongoing relationship. And that's the way that I think fitness and kind of dieting and nutrition is as well, is that it has to be a lifestyle and not just a bam, one and done type of a thing.
I completely agree.
You know, you put all this effort in, but then you fail to follow up and do your maintenance.
Yep.
All that hard work that you put in is going to just vaporize and go back to baseline. And I think that is exactly what can happen with fitness as well.
And I find that a lot with people training for specific events.
Yes.
I need to get ready for my wedding. I need to get ready for X, Y, and Z. And they're killing it. And they make these life changes. And then the wedding or whatever happens. But because we went so extreme on the diet, or we went so extreme there, where these things aren't sticky enough anymore. These habits start like fading away.
Yes.
Where you're like, if we just played that out a little slower and took a little bit longer, the next 20 years, 30 years, you would have had that body that you love. Instead, now we got to start. I mean, don't get me wrong. We are all on a roller coaster ride for everything. But like, the consistency is king.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I'm the first one to say if you're not fluctuating, you're not living.
Yes.
You know, I know for me personally, the mental side of being able to dial in my nutrition and to stay consistent with exercise, that's always been my biggest struggle. And it's not until I force myself into that consistent movement pattern of like, okay, this is now my routine. This time every day I'm up, or after work, I'm at the gym, and it becomes a part of your lifestyle as opposed to something that you're forcing yourself to do. If you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to do it. So you have to love what you're doing. And even if you don't like it at first, if you can make it that habit, you know, commit to it for a full month regularly, it's going to become part of your life. And then you're going to start to see and feel the change.
Yep.
And that's when it becomes addicting. And that's when you want to do it and you like doing it because you're seeing the change.
And I think that goes to, again, to speak to both the professions, if you can work with someone that is a coach or a guide that know they've been there, they've done that, they've had these experiences, I can walk through. Yes, I understand you don't like working out. It's okay. Like, but let's try to make this an enjoyable experience. What can I do to help you with this?
Yep.
Because there's other places where you walk in and being like, I don't really care what you like and what you don't like. This is what we're going to do.
Exactly.
And that's not what I believe in. And it doesn't sound like that's what you believe in either.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think that everything really does need to be tapered and tailored to the individual. Some people are really good at following instruction, and you can tell them, yep, this is the plan. This is what I want you to do. That you hand them the paper and they're like, okay, cool. Let's get it booked. All right. What do I need? Okay, let's get it going. And it's amazing and it's easy. And I feel like with my past experience with fitness, those are the people that you can throw into group classes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It really is that, because it's like, okay, cool, you'll follow along.
Yes.
And a lot of times group classes are people that are similar to me, where they like to work out.
Yes.
Where they're like, I'm going to be there all the time.
Exactly. They don't need the motivation. There's no major issues or obstacles.
Yep.
And they are happy to be there and spend time around people and friends and colleagues and everything, and just like enjoy having a good time for the next hour and a half of working out.
Whereas working with a coach is more, we have that accountability. You have a meeting on your calendar. You're getting a reminder the day before, the morning of, hey, I'm here. I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
Let's roll. Where that's a lot stronger of a pull to get into the gym and get you over kind of the intimidation factor, where you're like, I don't know who's going to be in my class today. So-and-so was there the other day. I don't know. Whatever it might be. Right? Whereas like, hey, you know who I am. We work together. The first 4 to 5 sessions we work together, honestly, it's more of me getting to know how you move.
Yes.
I need to see how you move. I need to see what you do, what you like, what you don't like. And then also, even if it's something you like, now I have to see how your movement patterns are with that, to see, are those safe movement patterns? Have you developed some really shitty patterning over the last decade that I'm like, it's going to take a little while and you're not going to like to hear this feedback, but we got to undo a bunch of things.
I mean, how many high-level athletes have you seen with absolute trash movement patterns on certain things? And just because they can move a lot of weight through that horrible movement pattern doesn't mean that it's right. And it's setting them up for injury.
Yeah, you're watching and you're like, ooh, you're always like biting your nails, being like, this is going to end bad. I know it is.
It's and like just because you can doesn't mean you should.
That's
put
a great
it down.
Saying. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Yep, definitely. And so what I'm really excited about with what you're bringing to Avon here is that it's going to be really dialed into semi-private and private sessions, correct?
Yep, that's all we do. That's all we do.
And that's fantastic. And that's something that I think a lot of people would benefit from, because I know just from being around a variety of gyms, there's a lot of people that are really intimidated by group classes, or they're new to fitness and they don't understand certain movement patterns or equipment. They don't know how to use it. And if you walk into a Planet Fitness and now you have all these machines in front of you, you're like, I don't know how to use this, so I'm not gonna use it. And then you're spending I hate Planet Fitness anyways. I mean, if you want to use it for your treadmills, have at it. But now you're spending your money on just a cardio equipment. And, like, that's not a well-rounded, exercise regimen here.
I completely agree.
So being able to, if you're nervous about exercise, if you don't know where to start, groups of people make you uncomfortable, you feel intimidated by other people that are probably doing a little bit better than you or more advanced than you, understand the movements better. I think that semi-private or private could be a great place to start. You have a couple friends that, you're all feeling the same way. Well, now you can have the support of having a small group with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and can go in there and mentally support each other and not feel like you're by yourself, and still get that more personalized attention to get you moving well and mentally, I feel like, really on board with what's going on. Or if you're somebody like myself, I would really benefit from one-on-one attention given my physical limitations with movement.
Sure.
I'm not I was somebody that would do great in a group class before. Pop me into a CrossFit class, weightlifting, whatever. I did great. No problem with motivation and movement. Loved it. Now that I'm a little bit more complicated of a human, I would personally benefit a lot more from one-on-one eyes on my movement, because now my movement is so important to me being able to continue to move.
Yes.
Because my goals have changed from being, PR, max out, go to this competition. Now it's, I just want to be able to continue to train. I want to be able to continue to be healthy and keep moving and not be continually forced to take time off to recover from a new injury or flare up an old one.
And I think that's the big thing right there, to what you talked about with, like, your specific goals.
Yes.
We're really, what I aim to be and what we are currently is a place where if you've ever had a hard time achieving these goals, you have these big, long-standing goals that you want to do. You want to do a race. You want to get into a competition. That's all great. Or you just want to have a different lifestyle. That I want to be healthier. We're the people that are going to be the fitness professionals to help you do that, achieve that, because everybody's coming in with different ideals. And I'm not going to just try to broad stroke this big painting of, like, we all do this because this is what we do.
Yes.
No, that doesn't make sense. As you said, like, sometimes as we get older, or even when you're younger, we have complicated bodies of, like, hey, my shoulder doesn't work like your shoulder works, or my knee doesn't work like you. But that doesn't mean you can't exercise.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you can't achieve your goals.
Yep.
And having a coach or a guide or whatever they want to be referred to as long as they're a professional and know what they're doing, we can help you with that. Yeah, and we can run you through that.
That's a game changer. And, like, I know so many women that are, either getting ready to be pregnant, are pregnant, or postpartum, and they don't really know what the heck to do with themselves when it comes to exercise in this, peripartum area. That would also be a great, time to get some more one-on-one attention.
Yeah, I've worked with, I want to say, at least 15 ladies from, like, just getting pregnant or before they were pregnant to almost the day of giving birth, like, all the way through it. And, like, yes, there are things that we're watching the entire time. There's movement patterns that we change. There's loading patterns that we change. But it's, and again, like, newer coaches, you need to get experience somewhere, and it's good to go do it. But, like, going through that for the last 20 years, you see a lot of common things that work and don't work. Yes. And the biggest thing for everybody is communication. Talk. Figure it out. Communicate every day. Hey, how are you feeling today? What's going on? How's your body feeling? Oh, my hip is killing me. I had to sleep all weird with this weird pillow last night. Okay, I can understand that. I also have a wife and I've had 3 kids, so I've heard of all of these different things that are going on and what happens. And then we do have a postpartum program as well, and a coach that's certified with postpartum stuff. Her name's Haley, and she'll be running a program down here shortly with that as well.
That's fantastic. That's so important, because when you are pregnant, your body is physiologically changing a lot, and ligaments are loosening up in certain areas. Your hips are going to change. A lot of things change, and that's going to affect your movement patterns as well. So I don't think it's really safe to take somebody that's pregnant or immediately postpartum and throw them in a group class with no guidance and genuine educated direction about how to take care of yourself with that.
And a lot of that is like, you're going to start out postpartum with stuff that you're like, this is really easy. Mm-hmm. It's similar to that bar thing.
Yep.
Just give me a second.
Yep.
I promise this dead bug's going to get way harder really soon. Like, I know you're used to sprinting, but to what we were talking about earlier, we got to relearn how to walk first.
Exactly.
We got to crawl a little bit. You're going to crawl pretty quick because you have a baseline of fitness, but then we're going to start walking a little bit faster, and we'll eventually get you back to where you were.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think that's so important. And I think having you in Avon is going to be a really great resource for people to help them achieve their goals, and then even to just get started. I mean, I'm telling you, I hear in my treatment room so many times because people will come see me for, what should be fitness related things.
Gotcha.
They don't like something about their body. They've got a little bit of extra fat somewhere. Sure. They want to get a little bit more muscle going. And yeah, we have devices here that can help bypass going to the gym to a degree.
Sure.
We can target certain little fatty pockets that are difficult to diet and exercise away. Mm-hmm. We can put you on a muscle stimulation device that's going to be like doing 20,000 squats in 30 minutes. We can get in there and really help target and throw some extra, it's like throwing some kerosene on the fire here. Yes. Like, we can do that. But it's not a replacement for you putting in the work and
Absolutely.
Working with somebody. And I think what we do here is kind of an adjuvant to it. And, we can help if you've got a back injury. Our muscle stim device is fantastic because we can work on your core and strengthening your core without putting that strain on your back and your other joints as you're recovering. So we can get you back on your feet faster and almost use it as like a rehab type device. Yep. You're having a hard time with low back pain because you have weak hamstrings. Obviously, this is coming from poor movement patterns, which need to be addressed, but we can help strengthen up your hamstrings in the meantime and get you back on your feet quicker. We can help boost your metabolism with vitamin B12 shots or methionine, inositol, and choline shots. We can do those things to help you achieve your goals quicker. But I think partnering that with somebody that can really hold your hand and help you learn how to achieve your goals and not just hand them to you unearned is really important.
I agree. And all of the things you just said, I'm like, yep, we can do that too. But obviously, like, mine's the long play. Yes. Mine's the long, slow. Like, in my world, there is no spot reduction. Exactly. So if you come to me, I can help anybody lose weight, but I can't be like, you're gonna lose weight right here.
Yes.
I can't.
I
do
want
that.
Abs.
Like, no. I can't. I can. Your body's gonna lose weight where it loses weight unless you have other tools.
Exactly.
Or you're talking about like the squat thing, the 20,000 squats or 30,000 squats. Mm-hmm. That's amazing because it's targeting glutes, right? Glutes are firing. Glutes are firing. So if you're looking at, a ton of people come in for leads with me and they're like, just want to work on my butt. Okay, cool. Like, we can do that. But when I'm doing that, we're getting the benefits of like, what's spinal loading look like? What's all of this? What's your bone health, ligament health? Like, all of that comes with it. So like, my play is like that super long, slow play. Mm-hmm. I joke and say, like, I sell the most unsexy thing in the world, and it's hard work and dedication.
It is.
Like,
it is.
It's what I sell.
In this day and age and I feel like especially with social media and how just bodies are so in, and it's like a weird thing to say, but they are. Mm-hmm. and specific shapes and big butts and thick thighs, and like what used to not be is now the thing. Yep. And it's funny how fitness has almost gone retail in that way. They want it fitness a la carte. Yep. And they are wanting to do things for a specific aesthetic purpose for one general area as opposed to just general health, wellness, and a fit body.
Yeah, and the hard part is, to that of the social media influence of like, guys, most things you see out there are fake. Exactly. Like, there's a lot of filters on people. There's a lot of different apps. Oh, like, you can take a picture of yourself, press a button, and now you have all of the abs and all of the muscles and being like, so just be careful of what your ideals are.
Oh, it's crazy. And I see a lot of people in and out of these doors here that have had plastic surgery or had, pretty intensive treatments elsewhere. Sure. We don't perform surgery here. For example, the BBL, the Brazilian butt lift, the fat transfer. They are lipoing out fat from usually the abdomen, love handle, anywhere on the body that they can get it.
Fat, yeah.
And they're going to be injecting it into the butt and the hips and the thighs sometimes to make them bigger. And what you're seeing on social media might be this great airbrushed and,
Super
filtered
smooth
out,
and
smooth
perfect.
looking. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, wow, that's what that can do. And when you lay eyes on it in person, because I have a lot of people that come in for me to try to help fix problems with their surgery.
Sure.
It doesn't look good. And like, I feel genuinely like some of even the best surgical interventions for body work still, they don't look great. There's going to be a lot of skin rippling. There's scarring. There's asymmetry. BBL butts tend to look like they're full of cellulite because they've put fat in there.
Because it kind of is.
It is. So, I'll have girls come in. They're like, yeah, I had a BBL a year ago. I've got, and you'll have some fat necrosis where fat can literally just die out of certain parts of it. And now it gets lumpy and bumpy. It's a really high risk procedure.
Sure.
BBLs have a 1 in 3,000 mortality rate.
Wow.
Which is wild.
Yeah,
It's
1 in 3,000. But I mean, that's exactly why you have a job, and honestly exactly why I have a job.
Exactly.
It's like surgery and stuff can only get you so far with these things, and after that, there's steps you have to take. There's things you have to do.
Exactly. And I can understand somebody, wanting to do surgery for an aesthetic reason of something that they cannot achieve without a scalpel, by all means. But it's not. It's all smoke and mirrors with social media, and so many people get duped into thinking that that's what they need to be doing, as opposed to taking, health responsibility for their bodies and just putting in the hard work with some diet and nutrition and exercise.
Yeah.
And they end up looking worse because of it.
I agree.
A lot of these over augmented, big butts, lipo carved out abs. It's like you have fat abs now.
And like, how long is that going to last for? Before all of a sudden it just starts filling back in. It starts to look
strange. And when you see these people in person, it's very cartoon-like.
Sure.
Even with like the over augmented lips and fillers, like all the injectables, the things that I perform here, when they're done incorrectly, when young girls will see them on social media and they'll come in, they'll be like, I want that, and like they'll show me on their phone and be like, one, if you saw her in person, you'd be laughing at her and not desiring her, because she'd look like a clown.
Gotcha.
Things are overfilled and just obviously fake looking and distorted, and it doesn't look natural. It doesn't. I get that some people don't want to look natural, but it looks deranged. It looks very just. It's so unnatural to the point that it makes you uncomfortable.
Gotcha. Do you find that normally happens where people are searching out deals and they're just like, I'm going with the lowest price provider I can find. This person said they can do it for half the price.
Yep.
That's where I'm going. And then they're like, now I got to spend 4 times the price to get it fixed.
Oh yeah. And that hands down happens. Or somebody wants to come and get their lips done. It's $650 plus tax here. And that's where it starts out for your first session, and that's what it is. And you're paying for a direct from manufacturer product that is what it says it is. It is FDA cleared and tested, and you're paying for the malpractice insurance that's helping keep these doors open and keep you safe if there was a problem. You're paying for my medical license.
So your experience, right?
My medical training, all of my continuing education, the skill. Anybody can take a syringe, a filler, and inject it.
Sure.
I mean, you can teach
a
chimpanzee to do it, but it's not going to go well. Exactly. So you're not paying for a cost of product. You're paying for an entire experience. And people will sometimes seek out something cheaper. And those people almost always end up back in our chair saying, I found a deal and now I need your help. And now they are literally paying 4 times the amount to fix it. And hopefully we can, because there's a lot of really scary bootleg stuff out there where it's not FDA cleared products. They're getting it off of Amazon or Alibaba from China, and it's not what it says it is. Horrible infections, body reactions, rejections, necrosis, and oftentimes the people that are injecting those things do not have a medical license and cannot handle a complication at that.
And that's scary. I mean, that happens in my world, but on a lower scale.
Yes.
You go to a different. People always searching out deals, right?
Yep.
Hey, I found a trainer that's half the price as you. Cool.
Yep.
Go for it if you want. That's okay.
It's probably for a reason.
You might get hurt. You might not get hurt. You might keep going with it. You might achieve your goals. You might not. What you're paying when you train for me is the experience that I've gone through and my team has gone through. And if you're working with one of my team members, it's the experience that they've gone through and the education that we've instilled on them and the beliefs and the systems and protocols that we use to deliver the service that we deliver.
Exactly. And your business has such a high reputation for quality and education and just knowing all the continuing education that you do, that anybody that reaches out to you for fitness guidance or nutrition guidance should know that no matter who they're seeing at your facility, that like they've got your stamp of approval,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
and that's meaningful. You know, they don't have to come seek out because they want you specifically. You've got a whole team, because I'm sure you are busy as hell and you got a lot on your plate. And so
Yep.
you have to kind of dole it out to other people. But you should have that confidence in the business and, you know, the group of knowing that everybody there, that you're in good hands with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to do. It's a lot of training, and all of my
Yes.
coaches have bachelor's degrees. They all have multiple certifications in industry-specific spots, and some are more nichey than the other. Where if you come in, you're like, I want to Olympic lift, you're probably going to go with Yosh. If you come in, you just had a baby, hey, guess what? You're going to go with Haley.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate where Yosh can run most of the gamut as well, but like I can do most of the things. But
Yeah.
again, to your point of my time's limited. Like
Yeah.
I'm a lot of places at a lot of different times, and I have different places I need to be. Don't get me wrong, guys. Coming to Avon, I'm going to be here myself personally Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like I plan on blocking off Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm going to be in Avon in the gym working with people. Like
That's fantastic.
I am a coach. I'm here to coach. I'm here to do the thing. And I'm not just going to open up a shop, hire some trainers, and call it a new thing. Like
Yeah.
you'll get me as a coach if you're here.
That's fantastic. It's just high standards are everything in my opinion. So
I agree.
That's fantastic to have. You know, that's what we look at here as well. You know, Radiance has been open for 17 years. You know, I've been here for 6, and Radiance has always had that reputation for knowing that if you come here, whoever is seeing you for your procedure, that you're in good hands.
Yeah.
So standards are everything, and experience really does matter. You know, my other injector, Melanie, you know, I was one of the people that trained her, and I tell my patients, like, interchangeably, if you see me, you can see her. If you see her, you can see me. We have such similar thought processes. We inject in an extraordinarily similar fashion. You know, we train each other. We bounce ideas off of each other all the time. So if somebody can't get in to see me, but she has an opening, that patient should feel so comfortable getting in her chair, you know. And
It sounds like you guys make each other better.
we do. We make each other better, and like we also treat each other. So if somebody comes in, it's like, oh, that looks great, and it's like, well, see her because she
I got
did
the
it to
girl
me.
for you. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I
and
have the
vice
person.
versa. Exactly. So it's really important to have a great team behind you and to feel confident with who you have.
I agree.
Excellent. Any other little tidbits you want to throw in, or?
No, I mean, right now, I don't know when this is going to be launched.
Yep.
I think today is December 12th, somewhere around there. Maybe the 10th. I don't know what today's date is.
10th.
The 10th.
Yep.
So today's the 10th. My goal of opening is in the next 4 weeks. So
Oh,
hopefully
perfect.
mid-January, we will be open. And honestly, we're just trying to provide the highest quality product we can. All of the gear that I've bought for the gym is stuff that I've sought out throughout the years. And I'm like, this is a super cool piece of equipment. This is what we need to have. This is what we need to
I'm
do.
excited to see all that.
And I ordered 99% of it from Rogue, so
Yeah.
I just had a massive shopping spree, which was actually really cool for me.
Yeah.
Because when I started the first gym, it was like piecemealing it together. And
Yeah.
like the first gym, or the gym in Enfield, has some amazing equipment as well. We have Sorinex gear. We're outfitted with really high-end stuff. But it took me 13 years of like piecing it. This, I was finally able to be in like, I'm going to put a lot of money on this credit card, but here we go. Like, let's roll it.
Yeah.
So like the gym's going to be outfitted with some really cool stuff. There is going to be a shower there. So if people come in their lunch break and they need to go back to work or before work or after work, they have things going on.
Oh, that's great.
We will have 2 bathrooms, so someone can use the bathroom, someone can be taking a shower, and all of us can work simultaneously around one another.
Great.
Beyond that, I'm just really excited to get in here and like do it and get it running and meet all of the people and start getting exposed to this area.
I think it's going to be great. I mean, Avon has a need for this, you know. I'm sure there's a couple little studios here and there tucked away, but I mean, nobody with your experience and expertise. And I think that this whole community is going to just be uplifted by having you there.
Good.
How are people going to be able to reach out to you if they're interested in joining up in Avon?
Absolutely. So if you guys are interested at all, romeoathletics.fitness is our website. Very, very shortly, you're going to see a bunch of my ads all over Facebook. You can click on any of those.
Perfect.
The socials, we're at romeoathletics.avon or Romeo Athletics. I think mine is romeo.aj. So you can find me personally if you want to know more about who I am. I promise I do walk the walk, and I don't just talk about it. Like, I do live and breathe this lifestyle. Like, this is who I am and what I do. And that goes through with all of my staff and coaches. Like, this is what we do. This is who we are. This isn't just a a side hustle that maybe I do here and there. Like this is it. Yep.
Perfect. I love that. And any of my patients, if you are interested in learning more or getting in contact with Andrew or any of the team members, if you're in an appointment and you just want to ask me, I'll get you hooked up with the information too. So don't hesitate to ask or reach out.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope to have you on again soon.
Whenever.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Just a Pinch podcast was written, recorded, edited, and produced by Kristen Gem.